we're talking about when my dad died, which was completely out of the blue, utter shock. The 18th of August 2015, and as you can probably tell, it's still quite hard. A strange number was calling. Picked the phone up, and it was my mum calling from Southampton General Hospital. And they were mum and dad were supposed to be on holiday, but dad wasn't very well. She said, "It's not looking good." I got there, my brother was on his way, my sister-in-law was on her way, and we sat in a really strange room where family sit. It's a really, they try and make it a nice, comfy, happy sort of place, but it's not. And then the surgeon came in, a very nice, very young lady, and he'd had an aortic aneurysm, which I'd had to look up because I had no idea what that was. So I quickly looked that up before I jumped in the car and shot off. And I remember all the way down thinking, it'll be fine. I don't pray. I'm not particularly religious, but I did. It was like, if anyone up there's listening, just please make it fine. But it wasn't. So, utter shock, because he was only 74. We were really lucky to be able to see him. So he still looked like my dad then, because he was still warm. He still looked like dad. And then the next day, my daughter came, and I took her down to see dad. So by that time, he was cold. And when they say in books, cold as marble or ice, or there's not a coldness of anything that you can touch that has anything like that cold, because there's no one there. There's just that body, but that person is not there anymore. And that coldness, I think, crystallized that for me. He was gone. I just could not make any sense of him not being there. So then I went back to work and found myself in tears at random moments. So I'd just get up and bog off for 5 minutes until I'd kind of more or less got it under control. But it was just random things. So it wasn't even, you think, oh, it's going to be a song sets me off, or this sets me off, or that sets me off. And it isn't. It's just like a wave of utter devastation and loss that you just can't manage. So that was in the first few weeks. Devastated is just one of those words, isn't it, that doesn't actually mean anything, except if you think of a landscape utterly devoid, or totally a tsunami, and the devastation that a tsunami wreaks. That's how it feels. That there's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do to stop it happening. All those cliche phrases that they're waves of grief and this, that, and the other, but that literally is how it feels. And what I learned was that you have to let them be. If you try and sit on them, then they're just, well, then that's kind of eats you up from the inside. Eventually, you can think about good things. You can get really angry because, you know, it wasn't his time. For us, it wasn't his time. Well, listening to actually one of Dad's friends, and he just said it's not something you get over; it's something you adjust to. So I found that really, really helpful. Something else I read: you carry, you know, that person is all the memories and the love and the stories that you had together. The essence of a person isn't the body or the outer shell. The essence or the essence of the person is all those things that you did together. That's going to be different for everybody, I'm sure. Probably a good year. The thought that that a person is, you know, not their body. That's not what makes a person who they are. It's the inside bits that make you who you are. That was the most, and then you carry those things inside you. That was the most helpful thing. Practical help, you know, things as mundane as making coffee and doing some paperwork and whatever the practical things are. I think probably walking, because you being outside beside someone, because then if they need to say anything, they're not looking at anything or anybody, or that's helpful. Listening, nudging sometimes, I think, is, and not being afraid, really not being afraid to say, well, you know, Granddad would have, or Dad would have said this, done that, da 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 da. Not being afraid that that's going to be hurtful, or because it's not. Because it's not pretending that it, you know, that it's going to be okay, because it's not. They're gone, which is quite blunt, but you know, there's no point in pretending it's going to be better, because there's only a road to adjustment. They're not going to come. That person doesn't come back. So so that might sound a bit blunt, but it's you know, it's the truth. And I think that's, yeah. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to like mention things or say things. And if you know, that upsets you as well, then fine. You know, that's okay. That's what I think. Grief is not something you get, or the loss particularly. I mean, grief is something, it's a funny thing. But when you've lost someone you love, it's not something you get over. You adjust and adapt, and that hole is still there. Time is a great healer. Shit phrase. Absolutely 100% true. Sadly, but it really is. So you can only take baby steps, and the and be happy with those baby steps, and let yourself just let if as I said, if you need to cry or you don't cry, however your grief manifests itself in its really raw form, you have to go with that, because that lets it out, instead of, and so then it's peaceful after that.